The information provided in this podcast is strictly for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitution for advice from your physician or mental health provider. Hello, dear friends, and welcome to Life of Love. We're so excited. We're on season 2 now. So welcome back, and thanks for listening. Today we have a really, really special guest. Her name is Danielle Matthews. She's a survivor of a traumatic brain injury that just rocked her world, and the doctor said she'd never be the same, that she needed to learn a new normal. But she's transformed, and she has a great story to tell. She's a survivor who's dedicated in helping people find their power within.
Thanks for having me, Julie. I'm excited to be here.
So, Danielle, you've had such a road, and traumatic brain injury, it has such a stigma to it. Just would love for you to share how you took those words that the doctor gave you and decided those words didn't fit your situation, and just share about your journey. I know it's been a long one, but give us some highlights. I'm just so excited to hear this.
Yeah, so it's interesting to take everybody back just how this happened. I was 23 years old, and I was up early in the morning on a Saturday going to meet my parents for a wedding, and someone hit me head on. He had been drinking, I guess, the night before, fell asleep, and when he passed out, lost control of the car, and it hit my car head on. And in that accident, I walked away. I actually thought I was okay, but there was something wrong with my brain. I wasn't focusing the same. I had severe pounding, and they were telling me at the beginning, like it was just shock. Then it became very clear it wasn't, and that there was something more that had happened. And so the diagnosis that eventually came down was a mild TBI, a mild traumatic brain injury. And it's funny, Julie, because I've always said, look, that's an oxymoron because there's nothing mild about what I'm going through. But doctors kept saying to me, well, it could have been worse. You know, you're not in a coma, you don't have a bleed. But I couldn't concentrate for extended periods. You know, I couldn't go back to work. I ended up losing my job. And so for a year, I was on this journey of trying to get myself healthy. And fortunately, I could move back in with my parents, and they were able to support, and, you know, they were looking for different options, and no one really had much. And my doctors, my neurologist specifically, after a year, when I was in my checkup appointment, he said, look, Danielle, with your type of injury, the body's done the healing that it's going to do. And this is your new normal. And you need to just work your life around these symptoms that you have. And I'll tell you what, something within me, and now I know with my higher self, just said, no, you're fired. And I just thought, this isn't going to be my world. You know, I was 24 at the time, and I thought, this isn't a life worth living. There has to be more to this, and I have to be able to figure out something. You know, my degree is in biology. I've always been fascinated by how the body works. And I thought there's got to be something that my body can do to heal itself. But more kind of pressing at that moment, honestly, Julie, was my mental health, because I was having panic attacks. I was depressed. I had anxiety. I didn't know what my future was going to look like. I mean, I couldn't even plan like 2 hours from now what I was going to do because I didn't know how I'd be feeling. So, you know, when he said that to me, it was actually like a stimulus for me to change internally. And I'm so grateful looking back that his comment was so blunt, because it made me kind of snap out of it. And honestly, I had to stop looking at myself as a victim of my circumstance. Which, you know, anyone would say, yeah, you were a victim in that. However, when you're in that energy, you've given your power away. You know, you have no ability. If you're saying, well, I'm a victim here, that means that like some other external force has power over you. And I thought, that can't be. I need to take my power back. And I said, okay, Danielle, like new rules have been put on this game of life for you, and look at it as a game. And try and figure out, you know, what you can do within these new rules that's going to bring you joy. Because I believe, Julie, if you can live a life where every day you're happy, you're living a good life. And I thought, all right, you know, that's my choice. Like happiness is my choice. And I had no idea how I was going to get there, because I mean, I felt like I had nothing to look forward to. The person that I had known prior to my accident was gone. You know, I couldn't work. I couldn't hang out with friends. I couldn't look at screens. I like to just paint the picture, like light was too much for me, like sunlight. So it was all really overwhelming. And I was basically in bed. but I was determined. And this is what it takes, something inside of you to say, no, I'm going to make an internal shift here. And I started a gratitude journal. And, it's like we hear people talk about that all the time, but I wonder how many people actually sit down with the daily habit of doing it, because it rewired me. I would look at that page. I committed to myself for a year. I'd write one thing. And I would look at that page sometimes and I'm like, there's literally nothing to be grateful for. At the beginning, I couldn't write anything. And then it dawned on me like, well, no, you saw a beautiful sunset, and you had those strawberries in your salad were like absolutely delicious. And, so called me today. And like, all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, there's like 100 things that happened today that are worth smiling about. And that pivot is what started to open up different things for me. And, there's an equation now that I like to think about, which is you've got the external world plus your internal response. That equals your reality. And the external world, so many times things are happening that are outside of our control, but you do get to pick how you're going to interact and react to it. And I'll tell you what, having that brain injury, it's not that my injury went away, but I decided to say, you know what, I'm going to find things that I can do with these limitations. Like now I have time to sit in nature. I wouldn't have time to do that, if I was working. I have time to hang out with my grandparents. I can cook new recipes. Like I started to find ways to spend my day that were bringing me joy, and my reality shifted. And the beautiful thing was that it also shifted my parents and my close friends. Like they were like, wow, she's going to be okay.
That is so touching and so relevant to everybody. Like any struggle, it has to do with your perception of that. And so that's your sign. That's your doctor saying, well, this is the way it's going to be. Just learn to live with it. Hell no. Hell no. I'm not settling. I think that's one of the things about gratitude journals. And I had to make a paradigm shift with this because I don't know, we were sitting at a service one time and the leader, she was saying, everyone call out something you're grateful for. In my mind, I was like, if I'm grateful for the little things, then the universe isn't going to bring me the big things that I really want. Like in my mind, I was like, don't settle for mediocrity. Don't settle for what you already have. You're supposed to be grateful for the booming things, right? And I was sat there and it was like weird because I was like, why can't I get back to the innocent gratitude? And that was like something that really bothered me, that I couldn't just sit there and come up with 5 things because I thought that I was being complacent or being lazy by being grateful for these things that just happen for me. But that's the abundance around us. You have to recognize, like, that's where the magic starts. But that's where I used to be. And that was like the life sentence attitude, right? Like now I know that's just misery to live like that. So, I just,
Isn't it amazing how like life is always unfolding for us? Like there's always these interactions. Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a situation, it's a comment from your minister, it's a car accident, it's a loved one passing away. Like something happens that shakes us. And I truly believe that like this whole reason we're here, the soul's journey, it's an internal journey. And the external world is creating the beautiful circumstances for us to figure out what we're supposed to be working on, what's next for us, what we're holding on to that's not serving us. The mindset's like this paradigm of like, wait, no, I need to be in like an attitude of gratitude all the time. That's the energy I'm meant to hold. So then more and more is going to come that I'll be grateful for. And those things will get bigger and bigger. And like when you look at life that way, this is something I just wrote an ebook called Mind Control. It's all in your head. And this is literally what I talk about is look, observe what's happening around you and realize that the internal response you're having to that's your work. And like the bigger the challenge, like the bigger the growth is going to be. And it's only coming because you're ready. And life is trying to shake you to say, hey, you've got something within you you're meant to pull out. You're not living up to your full potential. Like there's so much more within you. There's this power that's waiting to be unleashed, but if you're living a life where everything's great and all is flowing smoothly, like you'll never be stimulated into accessing that power. It's kind of like playing a game that you're going to win. How boring would that be?
What is the saying? Like you're a program player. The kids all say it. It's an acronym. If you're not questioning if you're one of these like robotic people that's programmed into the system, then you probably are one of them.
I agree with that.
I wish I had the acronym, and my kids make fun of me because I know these things, but I can't think of the word for it.
I don't know. But I'll tell you what, it's like the movie The Matrix, right? Like all these people are plugged in, they're going into life, they think they're living fully, but they're totally missing the fact that like they're running a program. And that's like what was so powerful with my accident was I got like pulled out of the Matrix. It wasn't by choice, which anyone by choice can say, they can make the choice to stop. I got pulled out by circumstance. And so I started like looking at the world, and it was so bizarre to me because it felt like people were on this like loop. Like I knew how they were going to interact with the situation before the situation even happened. Like I could see a fight like before it started because I'm like, well, they're coming in charged about this and this one about this because they're spinning stuff up in their own heads. And now they're going to come together. It's going to blow up. And then I realized, oh, I'm not immune to this. I do the same thing. That's when the real work started, where I went, okay, Danielle. So all of these situations, like I need to just be grateful for what's in front of me, because it's actually unfolding for my good. It's helping me figure out whatever just got triggered. Like the trigger is the teacher, and so often we put the blame out there because we're like, well, no, that external person or situation made me feel that way, and you're not wrong, right? That situation caused you to have these feelings, but it was because of the junk inside of you, right? They got triggered. And it's crazy because so many people want to repress that, right? But it's like, no, it wants to be let out. Like that's getting triggered so you can release it. And as you release these things, at least this is what I've learned on my journey. As I started to become aware, I started to just release that stuff because I'm like, well, this isn't serving me. It's making nobody miserable but myself. So I started to let go. And it was like all of a sudden I had this flow inside of me that was, I don't know how to describe it other than like this joy, it was just like, and I was just in that space. And I didn't know at the time that about the law of vibration or the law of attraction. Like I didn't know any of this stuff. and I tapped into it unconsciously. And I was in this space of joy and gratitude and just like happy. And all of a sudden the answer to my physical challenges got drawn in. And it's so fascinating now looking back going, oh my gosh, that's what I did. And that's what everyone has the power to do. Like internally, you create shifts and that changes your vibration, which then impacts the external world. And you actually start to draw in the circumstances and the people and the things that happen by chance. It's actually by design because your vibration has drawn it to you. And it's like, it's amazing the power we have.
It truly is. That resonates with me so much. And it's probably how we were drawn together to help, raise awareness of these powerful beings that we are. So I honor that in you and thank you for sharing. I know that's going to resonate with a lot of people. And if it doesn't, just leave it and you might hear it a different way and that's okay. But if you can latch onto that and okay, so you're getting triggered, you're in these intense emotions and you're having this experience that you're like, okay, this is a trigger. What am I supposed to learn? So many times it's hard to deal with these intense emotions or even be honest about what's truly affecting us, right? Because you have to do that soul searching. Like this is, maybe it's an abandonment issue or I feel let down because, it might not even be something in this life, but you can just say, I feel neglected in this situation and you're supposed to be someone I trust and I can't trust if I'm not feeling taken care of. So in your experience, how did you master your inner world to get to that place where you're talking about mind control? Because sometimes it's just swirling, you're just hurting. And is it breath work? Is it awareness, gratitude? Like how do you, in that moment of intense I just feel so bad about how I feel right now. Like, what's your trigger? And I know that you, not trigger, but your response, and you wrote an ebook about it that's available, but just give us a little insight on how you deal with that.
There's an analogy that one of my spiritual teachers gave that I'll share with you, and hopefully it'll help, because when the picture was painted in this way, it's made it all easier. So what she said to me was, look, Danielle, it's like a garden. There's seeds that are planted, and you need the right weather patterns to come in for those seeds to have roots and then sprout. And she said, if you look at life, the yogis call it samskaras, right? These things within us, the abandonment issue, the I don't feel worthy, all these things. The yogis call it a samskara. So just stay with me because this is her training. She said, look, groups of souls travel together lifetime to lifetime to be the weather patterns for one another so that these seeds get triggered. Because if they weren't triggered, they would stay underground. You wouldn't know that you were holding them, and they were very low vibration. So they keep you lower, and you are drawing in things at a low vibration. And so when she said that, I thought, wow, how fascinating. And she said, so in a situation where you get triggered, right, realize that's the teaching moment, and that person, and usually a lot of times it's our loved ones, right? They know how to push our buttons, they know how to trigger us, but it's because they're teaching us, they're trying to reveal within us what we have unfinished, and it's like we have this lens. And this is what I talk about in the ebook. It's like people have sunglasses on, where you're looking at a situation through the lens of your past. You're looking at a situation through abandonment, right? Fear that you're going to be left, fear that you're unlovable. Fear that you're not worthy, whatever it is, like those are the sunglasses you're wearing. And so when a situation happens and you get triggered, I always look at it as I go, what sunglasses do I have on?
Oh,
so for me, it kind of makes it more fun, where it's like, it's not like the emotion goes away, and you actually, honestly, you don't want the emotion to go away. You don't want to suppress it and push it. Like I said, coming up to be let out. And so I let the emotion be there, but it's almost like dispassionately watching a movie versus being engaged with the drama of the movie, right? So I don't get engaged with the emotion. I step back and I disidentify and I witness it. And I go, well, isn't this interesting? Where's that coming from? What's the root of this? And I get fascinated, not frustrated with myself, because we're not perfect. We are human. This is the experience we're meant to have here. Like Earth is a playground for us to do this work. And when I think about it with sunglasses, I then just have fun going, all right, well, what sunglasses am I wearing? And for me, not being heard, right? That's that was for me a long, long time, where I was I kept getting triggered, and I'm like, objectively, I'm looking at the situation going, there's no reason for you to be upset right now, but I'm internally feeling super upset. What is it? Why? And so I started to learn what sunglasses routinely were on my face, and so I set intention around that, and I'll do a meditation. I love yoga nidra, guided meditation, because they insert an intention in it. So when you're in the depth of meditation and your consciousness is more malleable, right? In the waking state, it's very like ice. But you get down there, it's like water. So you can insert this new intention, and then it freezes in, right? So then in my waking state, I now am operating with a new paradigm, where I don't have that reaction. And so that's how I look at it. And hopefully that take it less seriously and just realize, look, it's fun work.
It's self-exploration. It's, once you're free to have that emotion, you can explore it. But so many people are taught to be, just suck it up, buttercup, or all the things that teachers said to us, or maybe our parents said because they couldn't identify with what we were dealing with. And I'm not saying all parents are bad, but, kids get emotional, and sometimes it's not a good time to explore your feelings. And we're all in different, everyone has different coping mechanisms. And A lot of times parents will be like, oh no, have a lollipop. It's okay. Don't feel bad. It's okay to feel bad, but we have to get through those overlays and lock into the crystalline structure that brings us new energy and it frees us to be in the flow. Because if you suppress your energies, you can't find that flow.
No, you'll never find it.
So,
yeah. And it's beautiful. Once you access that, you're like going through the like feeling the emotion be released. You're like fine with it because on the other side of it is this beautiful energy flow. And so it's like that inner work then becomes like totally worth it because sometimes it's not fun. But the other thing that I'll just tell people, it's like taking out the garbage. You don't need to pick through and like get back into all the details of the drama of why you have this, like what happened as a kid and why you have the abandonment issue. It doesn't matter. Stop giving energy to it. Like it just wants to release. So just say, hey, it's okay. And start to just allow the feelings to be there without being engaged with the feeling, and just observe. And then if you need to do meditation, right? Go on a walk in nature, whatever you need to reset. We talk about like jump in the springs, jump in the cold water, jolt your system, whatever you need to get yourself where you need. But I think that when people start to embrace doing this and they start to embrace like the people around them, rather than blaming them, sending gratitude and saying, thank you for teaching me. The person
you showed me. Yeah, you showed me something. I was frustrated at first, but now I see what I needed to work through. Exactly. It's the unity. It's the law of one. Yeah. When one of us suffers, we all suffer. And so that's our little part to heal the whole. Exactly. So when someone helps us to acknowledge it and have gratitude, it's lovely. And it's a way to resolve conflict, right? Like they don't have to feel guilt or shame that they triggered you because you said, it's okay. I needed that. Thank you. Oh, I love that. Now I say God won't give you anything more than you can take. And I'll say, God, help me take this. I know you won't give me more than I take, but help me take it. How am I supposed to go with this? And sometimes I get stubborn and I forget to ask the angels to take it or help me see what I need to see. But yeah, it's all detox. It's all good. However you deal with it is good. And you're going to explore and find different methods. I would love for you to share. You said you had a product that you really like that's helped you heal and that you've seen help other people heal. And our time is running short, but I wanted you to share why you feel this product's important. And we usually don't feature products on here, but this was, we were brought together and I'd love for you to just share what you've experienced with it. And I've never tried this, so I can't say anything or endorse it, but if you could say how it works and what you've seen it do for people, it could be another way to help your body heal.
Yeah. I'll start with just sharing my story. So when I talked about that, my vibration shifted and all of a sudden I attracted in what my physical body needed to repair. It's amazing when you start asking the universe, God, it's going to put things in front of you. An acupuncturist called my mom about this. And she said, I've come across something in my practice. I'm using it with all of my clients. And she said, it's stimulating cellular repair. She said, it's these molecules are called redox signaling molecules. And she said, it's going in and it's alerting the system where there's damage. Some of my clients are having digestive issues. Some it's hormonal, some it's skin. She said, all of them are having results. And she really felt, she said, I believe it would pass the blood-brain barrier and could help Danielle. Oh. And so it's interesting because my degree's in biology. I was like, this sounds like BS. I never learned about anything called redox signaling. And I said, I don't know what she's talking about. I actually ignored it for 6 months. Okay. That's how like strong I was in my mindset. But my mom was more open and my mom said, well, I believe her and I intuitively trust what she's saying. I'm going to use it and I'm going to see what it does for me. And my mom had bone on bone in her hands. And she started drinking this, Julie, and it wasn't immediate, but 6 weeks into using it, her range of motion came fully back in her hands and her discomfort went away. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, well, it's got to be a placebo, because I'm like, I'm watching her drink it, but I'm like, there's no way that stuff is doing that. But then my dad started using it because he had a bad knee and he thought, helped your joints. Let's see what it does for mine. So he starts using it, and literally 10 days later, his knee was feeling so good he didn't have to wear his brace when he was working out. And that's when they said to me, look, Danny, this is a massive field of science. It wasn't taught when you were in school. It wasn't in textbooks then. And they said, look, go online, you can go look. And I started to research it, and I went, holy cow, this has the potential to do a lot. And I thought, all right, well, if this company has actually stabilized these molecules, it won't hurt me because my body makes these. It's not going to contraindicate with the medicine I'm on. That was my biggest concern. And I said, well, worst thing, it does nothing. Best thing, it does what they say. so I got on it with that mindset, and I didn't have immediate anything really shift, but 3 months in, the migraines that I had that were relentless for 2 years just vanished. I have not had one since. And my ability to concentrate came back. It was like the fog I'd been in lifted. It was like I literally, like, the world was like crisp again. And I remember my cognitive therapist saying to me, I've worked with brain injury for 30 years. I've never seen someone have such a rapid recovery so far out from the initial trauma. And she said, what the hell is that stuff you started drinking? And she was the catalyst, right? Talking about people in our world. Like, she was the catalyst for me to really go, yeah, well, what is this? Like, how is it working? And so she and I together dove into it because she wanted to learn about it for her clients. And we got in touch with a member of the medical board of the company. And in a nutshell, this is what he said. He said, look, the body makes these molecules in the mitochondria. And after puberty, the mitochondria become less efficient. And so your system, as you're aging, you're making less of these signaling molecules. And so what that means is, like, the call for help that goes out when you have damage, say you cut yourself, it's a weaker call as you get older. And so that cut, and for those of you that are older, you've probably seen it, you don't repair like you did when you were 5. But you put in these redox molecules, you get the call for help amplified. It just makes it louder. So now the body can repair. And he said, it's, he's a medical doctor. And he said, Danielle, in all of my years, I've never seen anything like this, because it goes into where that system has the damage. It's non-specific. It's not targeted for the liver. But if you have liver issues, it's likely liver cells that aren't functioning properly. It goes in and repairs the cells, or gets rid of the ones that are maybe mutated. So when I heard that, I just got lit up with the potential. And honestly, Julie, it's like everything is unfolding for a reason in the way that it is. And I realized, my life has uniquely prepared me for this moment. I've got a degree in biology to be a teacher. I've seen this stuff work. And so I said, I'm meant to share this, and I just, for the last 7 years, I've had such a fire in me burning of this passion of, like, look, the word needs to get out about this, because people are praying. They're looking for solutions to chronic issues. They maybe have had a conversation with a doctor like I have, where they say, this is your new normal. There's nothing we can do. And I just want to tell people, no, there is something. We can empower your body again to repair itself and get you to a better state. And if you are physically healthy, there's another level of health. We were talking a little bit before, like, this last year, for whatever reason, a lot of healthy people have been coming to me, and very spiritually oriented. And they're telling me my intuition is deeper. My vibration is, like, shifted. I feel like my cells have shifted into a crystalline state, out of this carbon state. My pineal gland feels like it's decalcifying. And this is a new conversation for me, and so it's been really interesting. I've just been witnessing it over the last year, and I'm just feeling like my heart's just, like, expanding, watching people be able to have, like, imagine going through life just feeling wonderful. Like, when you physically are healthy, Julie, it's like you can then show up more fully as a mom, as a partner, in your business, at work. Like, when
you have more energy when you're not fighting to get energy, right? You can produce because you're not just trying to exist. You're creating. And that's what this age of Aquarius, it's about creation. It's about, your divine feminine, your womb producing what it needs. All your creative flow is supposed to come out in this age of Aquarius. And I'm so excited about our turn in the the cosmos and the photon belt we're going through. There's all these opportunities. So anytime we get to create better, I'm just all about that. I'm so excited to hear about this technology. So it's like it's a supplement that stimulates your mitochondria.
Yeah.
It's a liquid. Okay.
It's like a liquid. So it's a liquid that you drink and you swish it in your mouth and then you swallow it. And then they also have a topical. And the topical is kind of cool because it's newer. They didn't have that when I first learned about it, but you can rub it where you need. So let's say you have a specific issue, you rub it there, or your skin. It's actually like all the research they've done on it is how it turns over skin cells faster. So you literally get younger, healthier skin. So your skin looks more vibrant. Wrinkles are going away. They did one study on cellulite. Like, these things aren't what get me out of bed excited in the morning, but it's like, whoa, like it's amazing what can happen when your body has what it needs to get, young, healthy cells in there. Like you'll look.
You're not changing your cells. You're just
like
activating them. That's encouraging. That resonates with me, that it's, it's a not a bio changer. It's bioidentical. It's like something your body's going to understand.
Yeah. It's literally like, exactly. Your body makes it. And that's what's made me so confident in sharing it. Cause I'm like, I've researched, I've interviewed the scientist that helped stabilize this, all of the doctors on the medical board. Like I went deep into this and I just thought, this is so safe. There's no way for it to hurt anyone. And it's going to help them where they need. Like, this is how the future is meant to be, and we're always growing as humans, and our conscious level of awareness is expanding. And so we're bringing in different modalities. And I truly believe this is a quantum healing tool. This gets down to the quantum world. Redox, the very basis of it is electron transfer. It's how everything talks. It's energy exchange. So it's like putting more energy into your system. It's turning on the lights, like getting more electricity. So it's really exciting. And I honestly still I think we're at the tip of the iceberg with what we know about this and what's going to unfold from here. But I've helped over 1,000 people globally. And it's like, there's not a challenge I haven't seen it touch. And it just, I get more and more excited. Like I get paid in goosebumps with what I hear, stories I hear. So,
well, what were you talking about when our pre-interview you said where they have a scanner that scans the aura of the people? And
yes.
Can you talk about how it went to?
Absolutely. Yeah. So some of you might be familiar with this. It's called the BioWell. I think Dr. Joe Dispenza and some of his work, he uses the BioWell scans, and it's pretty interesting. It takes your fingertip. It uses Kirlian photography, and it on the fingertip where that meridian comes, it picks up where your organs' energy is. It literally will show you your chakras, how much energy is in them, where they're out of balance, and which direction they're out of balance. It's this really cool kind of snapshot of where things are. And when I met this gentleman, he lives about an hour and a half from me. He has like a research center where he's always doing things with this BioWell scanner and trying to figure out, what products might be good for people, or what might be aligning with them energetically, or what could support the, an organ that is down, say, it's their thyroid. And I said to him, I said, well, this is interesting because these molecules go and help where it's needed. Right. And your machine is showing people where they need it. I said, so why don't we do a pre-scan, have them use the redox, and then let's see what happens after. And it was fascinating to look at these scans because he kept looking at me and he said, I've never seen anything like this. Some people are overactive in a certain area and it's helping them come back, whereas other people are underactive in an area and it's helping them come back. He said, so it's like taking away in some place and giving in other places. And he said, how can one thing do that? And I said, well, it's the body. Like it's just helping the body gain awareness as to, oh, there's an issue over there. And then the body knows what to do, so that's been really fun. We're actually going to,
health is our birthright. Our bodies want to heal. So that's exciting. That's visual proof that when you support your body, it'll do what it needs to be happy. And it's about being happy and healthy. Oh, I love it.
It is exciting. I like I said, my fire has only gotten like stronger and stronger and stronger. It's so cool. And to see like technologies like that can show what I've been seeing for years. I'm like, whoa, like your machine is showing me right then and there, what I've witnessed happen for people. So it's really exciting.
that validation is really important, because when you're in the spiritual realm or the healing and it's not traditional, sometimes you second guess. You're like you said, placebo, and you're just like, oh, and there's so many, show me this. And so just to get that validation must have been so
it was
joyful.
Really exciting. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is so fun. So fun. And the other thing that is interesting is the topical. You can get validation like within minutes, because if someone has discomfort or like a range of motion issue, what we found, like it was designed for the skin, right? But then we started going, well, wait a second, it repairs where it touches. So can it go deeper than the skin? And we started to like rub it over a sore muscle. Amazing. 3 times doing that. Like if you do it within a 5-minute period, 3 times, like 90% of people, you do it 9 out of 10 people, they're going to be like, what is that stuff? How did that just happen? Like, that level of discomfort on a scale of 1 to 10, going down, it's like, whoa, what do we have our hands on? It's like, it's pretty cool.
The thing is, you have to be receptive to having it work. Like if you're going to go in and try something and say, oh, I'm just going to do this because, whatever, I don't believe it. It's like, there is a power of suggestion, but then science can back up, like a scan can back it up, but you can't just go into these things with the premonition of failure. Like you have to have that vibration of hope and healing. And, cause your mind can deter, it can reverse anything that
Exactly. On that note, so Bruce Lipton, I don't know if you're familiar with Bruce Lipton's work, but he wrote the book Biology of Belief, and it's this beautiful marriage of like spirituality and science. And I was at a conference where he was talking, and I spoke to him about the redox, and he said, wow, if you marry the biology of that, like what we physically know it's going to do, he said, if you marry that with intention and the power of thought, and you have people, because you swish it in your mouth for 30 seconds. And he said, if you have people swish it, and as they're swishing it, intend where these molecules are going, what they're going to repair, that I bet you amplify the impacts of this. And if you want to go even a step further, write an intention on the bottle, of exactly what you want it to do. And I was like, oh, solid advice.
I just got chills. I think that is the way that our healthcare needs to go. I think that's where we're evolving to. And a lot of these things have happened. We're questioning traditional, sometimes when you read the side effects of things, you're like, well, are the side effects worse than the cure? Like how are we going to get where we want to go when there's 50 possible side effects from this thing that's supposed to help me? So I just love these options, and I'm really happy that you got to share. And I know you have another call, so I'm going to let you go, but I will put the link to, your information and how to get in contact with this product that's helped so many people. And if it resonates or you thought of someone, let's try to help. Let's get the word out.
Well,
thank you.
I appreciate you having me on. And if it resonates, I'm all about education. Like reach out. I can send you information, learn about it. And enjoy the ebook too. I'll make sure you have that link so everybody can enjoy that. And thanks so
Danielle.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate you listening and sharing these episodes. I just know that sharing hope and love and magic in your life can change things. And so it's just so wonderful to have you here. Please go to my website and comment if you have anything to add or share about any episodes. My website is www.youneedapeptalk.com. I also have a free energy video on there that you're welcome to check out. So I'd be happy to connect with you there. Thanks so much for listening. And as always, every day is a chance to live the life of your dreams. So go get it and have a great day.